Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we will be looking at a very unique and not very well known trap known as the Rubinstein trap or Rubinstein trap, however you call it, and it was named after a very famous grandmaster, Akiba Rubinstein. And the funny thing is, he actually fell for this trap twice, once in 1928 and another time in 1930 in San Remo against Alekhine. So let's just look at the game. So it went with pawn to d4, pawn to d5, knight to f3, knight to f6, and just saying this is a trap, but like that the game was played as well separately. So we have knight to f6, and we have pawn to c4, we have pawn to e6, and now the move bishop to g5 is played. And this is a very classic setup in the queen's gambit decline variation. And now black plays knight to d7. Obviously this can go in even this order, but if you want to look at it in perfect sequence, it goes knight to d7, pawn to e3, bishop to e7, knight to c3. After castles, we have rook to c1, rook to e8, and in this position you can just see it's all normal. I mean, it's just a line till now, and you just move rook to c8 and rook to c1, and you're just trying to get some x-ray attack going here. And after rook to e8, white plays this move queen to c2, and obviously this is also theoretical, planning bishop to d3, some sort of attack on h7. And here blacks plays this move a6, which is followed or replied by c takes d5, e takes d5, and now bishop to d3 is played with white. Again, just simple development. And black plays this move c6, a precautious move. It is a good move because it kind of relieves pressure off this knight to support the d5 pawn. And now white just simply castles, and black plays this move knight to e4. White continues by going back knight to bishop to f4, and here is the move which kind of ruins it for black, and it's the move pawn to f5. And this move kind of almost immediately loses the game for black. If you guys want, you can pause the video and find out the move, or if you just want to watch it for the heck of it, the move here is knight takes d5, and this is exactly what Alekhine played back in 1930 in the tournament against Rubinstein. And the idea of this move is pretty simple. White just wins a pawn, and obviously you might be wondering what happens. C takes d5. Well, bishop to c7, and that is game over for black. Realize queen's trap. Can't go here, can't go here, can't go here, can't go here. It's kind of claustrophobic for him right there. He can't move anywhere. He's just trapped with his own pieces. So that's basically the trap, right? And what happened in 1930 was, after Rubinstein made this blunder of, he completely overlooked this move. He ended up playing the move bishop to d6, and that's said to be the best response in this situation. So from this trap, what you get is you get a pawn, but you also he loses a central pawn, which is very important in the endgame. And after bishop takes d6, knight takes d6, white just went knight to f4. And after this move, Alekhine went into the endgame. I don't even think he went to the endgame, but the game went on for a bit, and Rubinstein eventually resigned. Actually, I can show you all the game, just a minute. So Alekhine just dominated the game after this, so that was something Rubinstein didn't see. Yeah, so the game continued with knight to f6, and then we had queen to b3 check, king h8, rook to d1. So you realize he's just completely just developing his pieces, activating them to better positions. Like queen to e7, he's trying to get something. First of all, securing these type of squares, no shenanigans like knight f7. Secondly, trying to probably get something on e4 going, but I think knight to e5 here It's a very strong move, and it's also threatening another attack of knight to g6 check, winning the queen. And we had bishop to e6, very well calculated. And after bishop to c4, we had bishop takes c4, obviously. After rook takes e4, he can't take knight takes e4 because of the knight g6 check, so he had to go queen to c7. And white just retreated to rook c2, rook to e7. We had rook to c1, again trying to find any type of activity where he can. Rook to e8, pawn to h3, pawn to g5, and this move knight to d5, again very strong, forcing the exchange. Knight takes, queen to d8. When knight takes e6, again a very good move played by Alekhine here. And if you think about it, it was well taught, because he is not exactly sacrificing his piece, he's getting a lot of compensation, as you can see. And it's obviously well thought of, because he's about to get the pawn on a6 as well, and he's gonna have 2 passed pawns. She's easily gonna push 4, actually. Even these 2 are passed pawns, but these 2 are completely gonna end the game for Rubinstein. And after rook to f8, we had rook to c8. After exchange of queens, pawn to f3, knight to f6, pawn to e4, obviously protecting the pawn. We had rook to a5, pawn to a3, rook to b5, pawn to b4, and after a5, rook to c5, rook to b7, takes. And just looking at this position, white's completely dominating. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Black just has 2 pawns. So he sacrificed a knight for 5 pawns, and you realize he was already a pawn up from before. So he just got 4 extra pawns for a knight. After rook to c7, there's really nothing much black could have done here. As after a7, rook to a6, c6. After this, the game was just over for Rubinstein, and he resigned in this position, because there's just nothing you can do. You're gonna have this pawn pushing all the way to queen, this pawn pushing all the way to queen. This rook's gonna eat up all your pawns available. So there was no use of playing this. So as I said, this game was played in San Remo in 1930, and before this, actually, Rubinstein, they say learn from your mistakes. That's something Rubinstein did not do, because he lost to another grandmaster. Now I don't remember the name, but he lost to him in 1928, and he fell for the exact same trap, just a variation of moves. So this was the second game, actually, where he fell for it. The other game was the first game, and he didn't learn from his mistake. I don't know what would have happened at that point. Maybe he just forgot about it. Grandmasters also do that. But yeah, after this game, I don't think he ever fell for it again, but the trap was named after Rubinstein, because he fell for it twice. Such a big name in the chess industry, in the chess game at that time, falling for the same trap twice. And yeah, basically that was just quite embarrassing for him back in the day. So anyways, this was the Rubinstein trap, and this was the actual game that happened in 1930. So if you guys did enjoy the video, do hit the like button, subscribe, comment down for any suggestions you have, or if you want to tell me anything, you can contact me in my on my email. I think I've written that in the description in a number of videos of mine. And if you are new, do subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one, and thanks for watching.